Good morning, traders. It is June. Wow, the year is half over. Where did it go? Monday, June 3rd, 5:45, 5:46 a.m. I'm Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, reminding you to press that thumbs up button. Give us a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can be kept up on what we've got coming up in the near future. And give me any feedback you've got, comments, symbols you'd like analyzed, anything you'd like explained, any questions you may have in the world of trading, things like that. Throw them down in the comment area below, and I will definitely take a look at them, see what I can do to help you out. All right, let's take a look at the charts. Let's start with the S&P 500, which is where we always begin. And market is just continuing to come down, although at this moment it's looking like a bounce, which is exactly what I've been expecting. We are looking for this wave to have run out of steam. We're looking ultimately for an A, a B, and a C. And I'm expecting C to probably end up somewhere down around this area. It's entirely possible that it just ends up here below the 38.2, but above the 50, somewhere in this range. But just given everything I see going on in the world, and given that the 61.8 retracement level is right here, based on this entire move, I am expecting something down around here. I don't think it's unreasonable, in fact, for this market to reach the 61.8. Looking at the 60-minute time frame, we've got a fairly clear looking picture to me, which is this is the top of our C wave, or the end of B right there. So this is B here, and now we're looking for C. We can count the waves. 1, 2, whoops, that was bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and grab my pen. I can turn it off. That's out of the way. We can see that the 261.8 extension level is right down here of this move of the first couple of waves, and anywhere between the 161 and the 261 would be totally reasonable for a wave completion. And so that is kind of what I'm looking at here. In fact, actually, whoops, sorry, I realized I just completely read this wrong. This is actually for the wave 3, which ended right there at the 161.8. So really, this is in the wrong place, or I'll just nuke it and do a new one. So now we extend here from about there to there to there. Now that's more like it. I knew something looked off. Now we're looking for something around the 100%, the 61.8 to 100% level, which we got right to the 61.8 level, but I'm doubting that's the end. I'm still expecting for us to get our overall wave 4 and come higher from there. So we'll have to see. But I think this last push down here, the wave 5, has a little bit more to go. So a little bit of a bounce up and then a push down further. So we'll have to see exactly what we get. Theoretically, it's possible that we're done there. But again, with everything going on in the markets at the moment, I think that's unlikely. I think we're likely to have a little bit more downside. But we'll have to see exactly what we're going to get. Anything could happen. If the buyers decide to step in, then they will push the market up higher. That's just the way that it works. But right now, you can clearly see bears are in control, no question about it. We are below the zero line on the oscillator, MACD below its signal line, 60-minute, that's the daily, of course, 60-minute, all below zero, although we did double bottom here. The oscillator was not able to move any lower. It's even actually just a tiny, tiny bit higher than here, and even than here. And certainly then back here. So in general, oscillator is kind of on a rising trend line here, a little bit of an ascending line, while price has continued to, whoops, try that again. Price has continued to descend. And more often than not, this is the type of thing we start to see when we're approaching the end of a wave. I still don't think we're quite there yet. We don't really have the kind of divergence I would really like to see. So what I'm really looking for is maybe one more thrust to the downside, and then oscillator, noticeably divergent. So we'll have to wait and see what we get for that. Right now, anyway, the downtrend's still very much intact. We clearly have the descending trend line here on the 60-minute, and this market is continuing to sell off. But it is getting a little bit tired, at least on the shorter term. Again, longer term, we could have some more downside yet to come. So looking for a little bit of a bounce and then further downside from there. All right, let's take a quick look at RTY, which is doing much the same type of thing. We have a very similar scenario playing out here in this market. Daily looking like an A, a B, and a C. And C's level for retracement is going to be somewhere down around here, the blue circle. And I'm looking for this to wind up around that point. Here on the 60-minute, we've got the initial extension to the end of wave 3 would be somewhere right down around here, right where it just reached and is now bouncing up from. So I am leaning towards a wave 4 being, somewhere here-ish. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if it coincides more or less with this push up here. So somewhere kind of in there is probably where I'm expecting wave 4 to go. So we'll have to see if that actually happens, obviously, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a bounce, and it doesn't seem like a coincidence to me that that also could be a bounce to the trend line. So this move coming up here to the trend line, then maybe a failure and a push down for wave 5. That is kind of what I am seeing. I'm looking for that to shape up. So 4 might end right around there. And right now, we also, similarly to the ES, we have a double bottoming of the oscillator right there. But we don't really have a strong divergence yet. That is certainly enough. A double bottom like that is enough to give us a push up. And that's exactly what I think we're going to have is a push up and then a push down for wave 5. So I'm looking for that. And then, of course, once wave 5 starts to get divergent and we end up with a much lower oscillator, if we can get a wave 5 that pushes down while the oscillator is up here somewhere, something like that, that would be a nice potential signal as soon as we see price action converting or rather, excuse me, confirming a reversal to the upside, then we could have some potential room for a long trade from there. But right now, anyway, it's kind of looking like wave 3 could be done. Although it's also possible, have to always keep this in mind, that wave 3 isn't quite done yet. If we don't really bounce up any higher from here and just head lower, then wave 3 was maybe not yet done. So we'll have to just keep an eye on this. We are within the area now. Anywhere between the 161 and 261 is what we're expecting, 70% probability of that level. So it just all depends on how far this wants to push. If the buyers come in this morning and really push this market up, then that will be our confirmation that, yep, that's our wave 4. And then we're just looking to see how far they can push it, at which point they can fall down and head lower. So let's now move on to crude oil. And crude has come down to the 61.8 retracement of this wave 3, what I believe to be a wave 3. It's looking real nice there. It pierced the 61.8 and then has now bounced back up on today's session, which technically started yesterday. It started at the Sunday afternoon. So we are pushing up right now. This is definitely a bounce shaping up. And if I zoom in a little bit here so you can see this better, you can see the nice push up there happening. Oscillator, huge strength on there heading to the upside. Oscillator is gunning on the 60-minute time frame for that 0 line. And if it can get up over it, then there's a decent chance we could get a bit of follow through there to the upside, and this could be the beginnings of an initial push up for the wave 5. So we've got a pullback that would qualify. Now we're looking to see is this the wave 5 heading upwards? Of course, we got to see higher highs and higher lows form for that to be the case. The question is this already the first higher low right there? Kind of a shallow pullback, but this is, it's a small move, so a shallow pullback would fit. So it's entirely possible that we're looking at a 1, a 2, and now we're in a wave 3 of the on a 60-minute anyway of the beginnings of wave 5 to the upside here to take out that level there. So we'll have to see if that can happen. Now, crude oil, of course, has been coming down, 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 despite all of the concerns of war in the Middle East and the conflict with Iran and all the stuff that's going on right now. Which is just kind of interesting to notice that you would think hostilities in the region would push oil up. But in fact, oil has been coming down. because quite frankly, it needed to make a wave 4. It was just ready to do that. So it's just kind of wild how this stuff plays out. But that's what we're looking at right now in crude. We are looking for wave 5 to be beginning. And of course, that means we've got to form a wave 1, and then a wave 2 has to come back down again. So there is some downside yet to happen. So don't think it's going to be just all straight up from here. It's got to come up and then back down again and then up for the big push. All right, let's take a look at the gold market, see what's happening there. And gold is kind of on an absolute tear right now. It has just exploded to the upside after giving us a nice pullback almost to that 100% extension level that I was looking for. It got really close to that, but not quite all the way. And in fact, if we also do a retracement on like 1, 2, so from say here to there, that looks about right to me. There we go. Look at that. 61.8 right there, right where it went. Went super, super close to the 61.8, and at that point, it looks like it's done. So we are now heading to the upside. I do believe I can delete this extension now because I think it's a pretty firm conclusion now that with that 100% is never going to get hit. That was as close as we got to it. Now the market is reversing after getting real close to the 61.8 and has broken the previous lower high, is now heading to the upside. So the next wave up is underway. And at the moment anyway, that is looking to me like a nice wave 5. Although, again, just to confirm that, let's take a look at the extension here, since I believe that's our 1 and our 2. I got to clean this up a little bit here. Let's get rid of that there. And that extension somewhere between the 161 to the 261. And there we go. So I am not thinking it's that because that is just not a big enough pullback for that to have been the retracement there. But certainly this A, B, C would qualify. No question about it. So I say wave 3 is done, and now we're looking for wave 5. And if it takes that level out there, that is going to be the absolute unquestioning confirmation that we are in that wave 5 and we are going to push to the upside. And I think at that point, it would be very likely to see it push up to challenge this high up here, maybe get back up there and sort of triple top, quadruple top, whatever you want to call it, but get back up into that zone. And then the entire cycle can probably retrace from there. We'll have to see. But certainly gold being on an explosive run like this, that would fit with people being really nervous and scared in the broader market. And it's got room to go. I mean, take a look at this. The oscillator, of course, on the 60, hugely to the upside. But look at the daily. It's just barely broken the 0 line. It's got tons of room to go. Look at that. Look how high it can go. It can get up to 40. So it's got a long, long ways to go. Plenty of momentum yet to come in this market. And unless some incredible news comes out that everything, China, Iran, Mexico tariffs, the whole 9 yards, all gets resolved just like that tomorrow, I don't see anything changing in the short term to cause gold to suddenly stop this upwards move. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for further upside in gold. All right, let's look at natural gas real quick. Natural gas has come down, broken the previous low. This surprised me. I really kind of thought that we were starting our next move to the upside, but to my surprise, the market has come back down again. So I think we're actually looking to form a bottom very soon here. We're right in the buy zone. And right now, we've stopped right at the top of the buy zone. And look how much higher the oscillator is. The oscillator is just super, super divergent right now. On the much shorter time frame, the 60-minute, we've also got a significant divergence here and now here. Oscillator is a lot higher, looking like it may be ready to head upwards. So watch for a break of this level here, and if this market can take out that high, then we're going to look for some follow through to the upside. Although technically we're still below the 50 SMA on both time frames, well, below the 50 and the 13 really. So everything is still technically bearish. So be very cautious. Keep a sensible stop. Your stop level right now is going to be just below that low there, or tighter even. But certainly that'd be the loosest stop that I would work with, would be right below that level. Ideally, if you don't see confirmation to the upside, then there could be further downside, and you'd be better off for a long position waiting for it to get down into this buy zone somewhere if we don't confirm to the upside. All right, last but not least, let's finish up with crypto, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is looking a little tired on the long term. We've got the daily chart getting kind of divergent to the downside, even though price pushed up. It is kind of looking weak, and it's looking like we may have a last wave 5 push up at this point. Let me reset this. There we go. And wave 5 has got technically a little ways to go still, potentially. It could get as high as the 61.8 or so, which that 10,000 level, major psychological level and technical level, because whoops, went a little far there. You can see right up here, right at 10,000. There we go. Significant sell zone right there. So I still would like to see, technically, would like to see Bitcoin get up to the 61.8 here for a nice solid wave 5. I don't know if it's going to be able to do it or not. We might have a shortened wave 5 now because the daily is looking like it's getting weaker and weaker. But at the moment anyway, nothing has changed. Trend is still up. You can see price is riding the 13 EMA really well right now. Can't even come anywhere near the 50. It is still very strong. This uptrend is still pushing very hard to the upside, but we're getting kind of stuck in this sell zone right here, which technically was actually broken and tested as a buy zone. And right now it's holding. So at this moment in time, that is actually a buy zone, and it's holding us up. Oscillator to the upside on the 60-minute. It's trying to go that way. It got shallower. So it is increasing in strength, but it needs to get up over that zero line and hold. And it did for a little while there. But then we had a bit of a pullback, and right now it's got to decide what's it going to do. Are the buyers going to step in and buy this market up? Right now, the trend line, you can see that the trend is holding very nicely to the upside, but we have to take out this high in order to go higher. So it's in that typical sideways period right now, which Bitcoin has a tendency to do. Big moves and then sideways for a while, and then a big move and then sideways. And that's kind of where we are right now, just sort of chopping around in this general area. So we need to see one thing or the other happen. Either it needs to break higher or it needs to break lower, one or the other. If it breaks lower, then I would say wave 5 is probably finished. And it's just a short, weak wave, which is not a good sign. On the other hand, if it breaks up higher, I'd be watching for it to get to around that 9,700, somewhere between 9,700 and 10K or so is probably where I would see wave 5 give up and call it done. Okay, that's it for me today. Let's get ready for our trading day ahead. I'm going to go ahead into the premium chat room here. So those of you who will be there, I will see you there momentarily. Right now, taking a look at the S&P, we're getting some follow through already to the upside. Take a look at that. Buyers are already starting to come in and getting a little antsy buying this market in the pre-market right now. So I'm thinking that continuation to the upside is going to be a very likely scenario today. But again, you got to really be cautious. Give that first half hour to an hour or so time to settle out, see what it wants to do, see if it's going to establish an uptrend and hold it, and then continue to the upside. So watch for the pullback, which will always happen, and then a march higher. And then definitely the trend direction today is up. Then use your short time frame if you're a day trader to scalp your way to some green on your profit and loss today. All right. So make it a green day for everybody, hopefully. And I will do this again on Wednesday. So till then, I'm Jonathan Van Clute with Stock Navigators, reminding you, make sure you push that little thumbs up button right now. Go ahead. Do it now. I'll wait. No, just kidding. But do it now. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well so you can be kept up to date on some big things we have coming up in the very near future. And of course, give me any feedback you've got in the comments below. Anything you'd like us to do, anything we can do to help your trading, let us know. I want to do my best to give you a helping hand. Trading's tough. Don't do it alone. Get the help wherever you can find it. All right, everybody. Take care. I'll see you again Wednesday. Bye-bye.